All right, we working? Nice. Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome to another video. Man, oh man, I have a very interesting topic. I'm extremely excited to talk about it because I think this can relate to everyone. And let me just make sure this is actually working here. I'm filming this a little bit later, so the lighting isn't the best, at least I think on camera. But yeah, so let's get to the point of this video. If you've clicked on the title, if you've clicked on this video, it's probably because, well, strictly from the title, and it relates to you in one or at least some way. It's a topic I don't even know exactly how to discuss, but we're just gonna dive right into it. So very recently, I had someone reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, just talking about my YouTube channel, talking about lifts, saying some kind comments. And after I have spoken with this person, he had sent me some video footage of some of his lifts. And instantly, as soon as I saw the video footage, it hit me. And I was impressed. I was extremely impressed. I'm going to be putting this video footage up as I speak. You guys can see it on the screen. There might be a couple videos. I don't know how it's going to be on here, but you guys will see. And essentially, it's a dude, it's someone I met through social media who trains apparently out in the middle of nowhere. He seems to, I don't know too much about him. We've spoken a little up until this point. We've spoken a little bit. But he seems to be training with no arm wrestling equipment, like absolutely zero. Which kind of brings me up to the whole point of this video. You don't need anything fancy to become a good arm wrestler. You don't need anything fancy to train in arm wrestling. You really don't. And arm wrestling is such an interesting sport because, as you know, you go anywhere in the world, anywhere. We all know someone who has a completely different setup. I mean, it's the same concept. We're doing the same lifts, we're doing the same movements, we're training the same specifics, but at the end of the day, we're getting the job done. Now, I consider after seeing this footage of Buddy training, it kind of motivated me a little bit. I'm like, you know what? That kid actually has, excuse my language, fucking discipline. Because I don't know, and I stay true to what I'm saying, I don't actually know if I would have the drive if I didn't have so-and-so, and I quote, proper equipment, or nice equipment, or cool equipment, or expensive equipment. And I'm not saying this from a cocky or a derogatory perspective. I'm saying this because I'm being genuine here. I don't know if I would have the exact drive to train and to try to be elite at arm wrestling or even do it at all if I didn't have the proper equipment. When I see Buddy like this training with, I'm gonna pull this up because this is absolutely wild, but I don't know, let's see. This dude is literally training with a basket full of chains, transmission parts, shovels, posts, and he has a strap on top doing the Devon Larratt lift, the pronation lift, doing some rising. One of the videos that was extremely interesting to me too, and I'm gonna throw this on, and I did ask him if I could post this video footage because I think it's extremely interesting. And honestly, if there's anyone out here who's doing anything remotely close to this, I fucking applaud you, man. Like this, to me, this is extremely impressive. This guy is on like some type of a contraption where he's literally sitting back. I'm gonna be playing this on the screen. He's gonna be sitting back and he's using his whole body to just catch the arm wrestling movement and pull himself up. That is so cool. And you know what? Because I'm gonna be posting his footage and he doesn't mind me sharing this at all after I've spoken with him, his name is Garrett Thomas. So I honestly, man, I'm extremely impressed. For someone like me who I feel like, and I mean this in the most respectful way, I feel so fortunate now to have an arm wrestling setup that's extremely half decent. And after watching your lifts, you actually are probably stronger than me in some of these lifts. And it just goes to show you that you don't need to have money, or you don't need to have the nicest, most beautiful equipment or the newest thing on the market. It really, you can literally do this wherever you want. And you know, we all know those people who prefer to work out isolated, like genuinely prefer to work out alone, or those who like to work out in the dark because they feel like they're invincible, where they get the most drive. Those who work out completely alone, music blasted, not a person of civilization anywhere around. I can't do that. I feed off of, how do I even say that? I feed off of, first of all, people's energy. I enjoy just a very public environment, which is not for everyone, I get that. But I also feed off of like having a very professional setup. And I'm not saying that my setup is so good and it's better than most of your guys's. I just have a setup literally sitting where a kitchen table should be. So I'm not saying that mine is any better than anyone else's, but for my own standard, I genuinely just feel very good that I have a very professional setup, where when I get on the table, I feel like I'm extremely motivated, more motivated, not disciplined, but more motivated to train just because I have that right there. If I had, let's just say, a belt, like a strap or a belt, and I was just pulling up, let's just say this thing right here, this big rice bag. I had no equipment. I lived far. I lived, I don't know, somewhere in the bush. Let's just say in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if I would have the drive. I really don't. I think the only thing that would want me to do extremely well is if I was able to afford, or I was able to travel to a tournament, have that experience of losing or winning, and just seeing the overall community of people in the vicinity. Those are the moments that really make me realize on how much of a grind it really is. And everything you do outside of the tournament, outside of the competition, outside of nationals, provincials, everything you do in the background, it's only gonna show once you get on the table. So when I see people like this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, when I see someone like this training with such little, I mean, I'm talking from like a strictly arm wrestling equipment perspective. You can relate this to anything, but when I see someone like this training with extremely little, like there's practically no arm wrestling gear there besides the strap, I fucking applaud you, man. I swear to God, I applaud you, because I don't truly know if I would have the drive. And I say that from the bottom of my heart, man. I really do. So for me, I'm extremely impressed. And I was talking with Garrett, and he doesn't have, from my understanding, unless something has changed between now and then, but he doesn't have any training partners that are fairly close. I think there's one or two, but they're not usually available, and there isn't anywhere close to him that hosts tournaments. So, you know, just from his perspective, at least from what I'm seeing, it's an extremely difficult sport to be doing, because first of all, you don't have no one to train with, relatively speaking. You don't have anybody training with. You don't have no one to train with. You don't have anywhere that's close to you that hosts tournaments. You have pretty much zero arm wrestling equipment. And the scale he's using, if it's not already posted in this video, the scale he's using is actually just a human scale where you step on, you weigh yourself, but he's actually holding the basket of whatever the weight is on top of his weight just to see the weight difference. And then there you go, as opposed to someone like me, who I feel extremely fortunate and lucky to have a 10-pound weight sitting there, as bad as that says. As bad as that sounds. I find that extremely fascinating. The drive, the determination. I honestly can't say enough good things. It's just impressive. And I swear to God when I say this, I really do mean it. I think that's impressive. That, in my opinion, would take a lot more discipline than for me to walk out of my bedroom that's 10 feet away from the table, and for me to go do a workout when I'm just a general workout. It would be so, I know myself, and I can be extremely disciplined, and I can be extremely motivated. And it's very hard to be disciplined when you're not enjoying something or you don't see something a certain way. I just don't know if I was living in a situation like that. And like I said, I'm not meaning this in a disrespectful way. I'm on your side. I'm genuinely on your side. But I don't think if I was living in a situation like that where I had access to zero, that I would actually be competitive in the sport, or I would want to chase, arm wrestling goals. Maybe there would be a fire lit under me somewhere saying like, you want to be that guy who comes out of nowhere. I remember Olig, Ukrainian kid. Ukrainian? Olig's not. I'm having. Okay, let me double check. I'm 99.9% sure. Olig. I can't believe I have to look this up. Olig nationality. Come on. Okay, Ukrainian. Okay, I was right. But I remember years ago when I got into the sport, I was watching video footage for Olig because I was always just fascinated by how big his forearm was. It's still fascinating to this day. And I just remember watching some video footage of him. He was training in, I'm assuming it was his yard at his house, an arm wrestling table outside. And it wasn't even like a good arm wrestling table. It was essentially a piece of wood with a pad, a leather pad of some sort. And he was using a pulley system that was essentially wood and like metal maybe? Something like that. And I was like, this kid is an animal, world champion, national champion, coming out of a completely different part of the world. And this guy is training in essentially his backyard with the most minimal equipment, just enough to get the job done. And I'm sitting here complaining because I don't even have 50 pounds of weight on my new pulley system that I had just got. So there is something to it, and it's a mindset. It's passion for what you're doing. It's what you believe in. And I can literally just ramble on an extremely long time about this, but the point of this video, for me, at least my point, if I can get across to you guys, is you really don't need much to get started in the sport. As you can see, Garrett here, he's using pieces off an engine. He's using stuff from around the yard in a rusty old basket, doing lifts that I honestly don't even know if I can do. And I'm training my ass off here with everything that's available to me. So I just want to put that out there. I thought that was extremely interesting. It definitely motivated me. It kind of woke me up a little bit. Just from a perspective of, look, man, you have a lot that is given to you. Feel fortunate, feel lucky, and just take advantage of it. Because unfortunately, other people sometimes don't get that opportunity. So this is a positive message to anyone who is thinking about getting in the sport or has, might be in a very similar situation, might be in a worse position or a better position, and could possibly be lacking the motivation or discipline. This is a prime example of what fucking determination is and discipline. Full respect on my end. I have nothing but respect and positive things to say. It's honestly quite inspiring because, like I mentioned several times in this video, I have everything given to me and sometimes I don't take advantage of it. But I'll leave the topic there because I'm just going to keep repeating the exact same thing. And that's it. So recently, I'll move on to a little bit of a different topic here. Recently, I had done a PR lift of the, Mazarenko, of the wrist wrench. And then I also did a PR of my riser. So wrist wrench currently, as we speak, it's 80 pounds. I'm talking an Omega Strength Obsession handle. Hold it full curl in, 80 pounds. Also, if you guys want to save money on any Omega Strength Obsession equipment, link is down in the description below. If you want to save 10%, use code Keanu, Keanu, at checkout in capitals, Keanu, to save yourself some money. So yeah, I have an 80 pounds PR on wrist wrench, just a straight curl in from a static arm wrestling position. And then I also have a 65-pound riser lift. And the lift, if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. But the towel goes directly over the middle of my fingers. So just right across here. So when I'm holding, it's coming off right here. 65 pounds. In the upcoming video, I believe I will be doing a pronation lift PR, a proper one. And then I think I'll be following it up with a back pressure PR. So essentially, the point I'm getting to here is I have PR videos coming. So you guys can compare all your numbers. And then eventually, once all the numbers are out, We have a little bit more of an established PR system here. I'm going to be putting them on a black chalkboard, which is going to be in the corner here next to the table. So every time I'm filming, you guys can just directly see the numbers. And as we go with filming, we'll be updating it with time. And I think that's all I kind of wanted to mention. Also, for those who have never recognized this or realized, I'm not someone who works on my biceps too much, but you know what? It's actually time I start. The gym that I go to, Truth, which is about a 5-minute drive from here, recently I'd spoken to them to pick up an Olympic-style preacher curl bar. It's never something I really done. I mean, I've worked my biceps quite a bit, but if we're talking from an arm wrestling perspective, I am lacking heavily on the bicep game. I'm just putting this out here now that we've received it at the gym, and I used it for the first time today. Moving forward, my biceps, I'm just letting you know, look at these big things here. They're gonna be growing, and I would be scared if I were you. Just be a little scared. Yeah, I'm actually excited now to really start hammering these biceps. Yeah, I'm stoked. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the video here. It's getting a little bit late. I gotta eat, I gotta study, I got a flight tomorrow. And if tomorrow's flight I have a flight tomorrow, I will then be doing a mock flight test. If my mock flight test goes through and there's no issue, I will be sent to a second instructor, an instructor that I have never flown with. If he thinks I'm okay, I will then be going to do my flight test. So if in a perfect world, I am 4 flights away from getting my pilot's license. And I'm gonna end the video there. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, seriously, like and don't do one or the other, like and subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.